Hello everybody, I am the Son of the Morning, and this is another Ye Olde Comic Con Modern Comic Review. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. We're going to be doing a DC Black Label book. Now I know that DC Black Label doesn't always get a whole lot of love from people. It seems like it was kind of born out of the Elseworld stories. Elseworld stories were stories that were written that were superhero stories about characters like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, etc. that were non-canon but still worth printing. This is the same thing with DC Black Label. None of this stuff is canon, but to be completely honest with you, who actually understands and can follow canon anymore for either DC or Marvel? Actually, I take it back. I'm sure Rob from Comics Explained he could do it. Anyone else, I highly doubt it. I mean, if you want to follow Batman, you go into the store, you've got Detective Comics, you've got Batman, you've got Batman Beyond, you've got Batman Curse of the White Knight, and I don't know how many other Batman books. If you're going in there looking for to get started on Spider-Man, there is got to be at least 9 or 10 Spider-Man titles that are out right now. So how do you keep track of canon? Another example would be, right now I'm reading 3 books that involve Doctor Doom. In one of the books, he is a fugitive who apparently committed a terrorist attack on the moon, but he's actually the good guy in this scenario. He is also in the Savage Avengers, where he was teaming up with Doctor Strange and Conan to defeat sorcerers. And he is also in a book where he's about to kidnap Franklin and Valeria Richards. So, what is canon anymore? I'm not sure. At any rate, today on this video, we're going to be looking at Wonder Woman Dead Earth by Daniel Warren Johnson with Mike Spicer. I'm enjoying these so far. It is a very different story than some of the stuff that we would be used to. Let's start taking a look at issue number 1. Now, before we start, actually, this whole series here, it sort of flips back and forth between when Wonder Woman was very young, when Diana was a child and she was being trained by her mother to be a warrior. It splits between that and the modern Dead Earth situation that she's dealing with right now. So, take a look here at the credits here. Story and art by Daniel Warren Johnson. Color by Mike Spicer. Lettering by Russ Wooten. And the covers by the Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. And so we'll start off here. Like I said, Wonder Woman is I'm the worst at Thymesia. I don't know how to pronounce the place that Wonder Woman comes from. We'll call it Wonder Woman's Island. She's here learning some stuff, being trained on how to do things, and then you can sort of see here that there is a nuclear type explosion, and the comment is, one day this power of this world will end. Their fragile grasp on our earth will shatter like glass, but you will live on, she says to her daughter, to Wonder Woman. So then we sort of skip into the now, the modern time where it's the end of the world, where there's been an apocalypse type situation happen. And these children are sort of in bands. I believe there's one remaining city left on Earth. And there's these creatures that are coming after them. They call them hydras. They need to kill these things as they are trying to kill them. This is sort of their daily battle. They're hiding from these hydra type people, or I should say creatures. So you can see here, the guy here stabs it, they kill it, it crashes to the ground, they are saved. When they crashed through the ground, unfortunately, the Hydra came with it, but underground in some sort of receptacle, as you can see, Diana has all sorts of wires attached to her. She's wearing some sort of white suit. She just sort of grabs the Hydra's throat and rips it out, which is kind of cool. At any rate, Wonder Woman is fighting this Hydra. She fights it off, and now she's made friends with these 3 little kids. The Hydra, of course, is not quite dead yet. The kids try to help her. They try to help it. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but Wonder Woman uses her immense strength, and as you can see in this panel here, she just sort of rips the Hydra in 2. And then she sort of slumps down, and she's unhappy with herself. Wonder Woman doesn't like to kill. At any rate, they are now in this cave. These children, they sort of tell her about where they come from, and they're gonna lead her there. So they go out into the open, and it would appear that wherever Diana was being held way underground was at Wayne Manor. As you see here, there is a what looks like a very dead Batman sitting there. Of course, in the Expanse, if you've ever seen any Batman comics, there's a huge acreage, beautiful, which kind of looks like Mars now. So that's not fantastic. Wonder Woman asks, what has happened to the Earth? So Wonder Woman is with these kids. I don't want to go over too much of this stuff right now. She does go down into the Batcave, presumably, where she finds an old Wonder Woman suit and some other equipment, and she puts it on, and as you can see here, once again, she is looking like Wonder Woman. The children ask her to follow them. They're going to lead her to where she needs to go. Now, when they get there, nobody's happy to see Wonder Woman. They all kind of want to fight her, and they kind of aren't too pleased that she's around because she's causing a ruckus, causing problems. And then we switch back to the Diana's Island, because like I said, I don't know how to pronounce that word. So just more training. She's talking about the different things that Diana can do and what she'll be able to do. She tells Diana to never leave the place because it's a refuge, and you can't afford to trust the world of man. So, flipping back here, Diana has been put in prison by these people. They're not too pleased with her, and that's not all that surprising. And then they decide that they are going to put her in a situation here. It's almost looks like a Roman Colosseum situation where she's going to be put in here to have to fight some sort of monster. And that monster happens to be Cheetah. Cheetah is mutated, as you can see. Diana is very surprised to see Barbara, or Cheetah, so she is trying to stop the fight, but Cheetah is not relenting. More scenes over here with the kids. They're trying to figure out what they're gonna do. They, while they're all sitting and watching Cheetah and Diana go at it, these hydras start entering the arena, trying to kill everybody, trying to eat everybody. At this point in time, Cheetah and Wonder Woman realize that they're going to have to band together. The rest of the people there with their spears are all going to help them. And they're going to go after all of these hydras and do their best to try to rid them, which they eventually do. As you can see here, Diana makes the comment that they are victorious. And there's a big slaughter on the ground. These are all the Hydra, these strange creatures that have been attacking. And they are victorious. Everybody is pleased for the moment. Of course, Cheetah is not happy because the leader of this city has obviously been very cruel to her, and she wants to get back at him, which Diana gets in the way. She tells her that it's not the way. Cheetah tells her that Diana doesn't understand what this man did to her, and Diana replies, "You're right, I don't." And from there we go back. It's just some more of this training stuff. Diana learning how to be Wonder Woman. And there's nothing too exciting about those parts there. It's just sort of gives you a little backstory there. Now at the end here we have Diana, and she is with this guy E-Dog, who she will eventually decide to trust. She tells him to take this man and put him in the same cell that she was in, this being the one that mistreated Cheetah. And she tells Cheetah that she's gonna try to help her get her back to herself. Of course, Cheetah being Cheetah, the arch-rival of Wonder Woman, she doesn't really want her help. So at the end of the story here, Diana says that she decides that, you know, the Earth is no longer safe, so that she's going to take all of these people with her, and she's taking them to Themyscira. Yeah, I know that one. I'm never going to get that word. Sorry about that. At any rate, that's the end of book 1. I liked it quite a bit. Not your average Wonder Woman story. Like I said, it is not canon, so there is a little bit more freedom to have fun with the character a little bit, which I feel like they did, and I feel like they did a good job in here. Book 2, I really like the cover of book 2 here. You've got some of these giant hydras around, and Wonder Woman and her little friends with her there. So we'll open this guy up, and we're opening it up to more battling, more learning. Now, this is what I find extremely interesting about this issue. So Diana's mother tells her that at some point in time they threw this huge party. She sent all of the islanders out to the farthest reaches of the universes to get the finest foods and wines so that they could have a huge party for all of the gods. You can see all the gods lying here. They're not dead, they're just drunk and happy. Now, what Diana's mom does tell her is that while all of these gods are asleep, she went around with a knife and cut open their palms and stole little bits of their blood. And she says, even Zeus, not a single god slept without their without their palm touching my blade, Diana's mother says. So we're starting to see things that are a little bit different. This is still more of that training. She's learning how to deal with Pegasus over here. And then we sort of go and flip back to where we were before here. Diana is still in the prison. This guy here has seemingly regained control. And we'll flip around here a little bit. Diana basically tells these people that, you know, they're running out of rations. The only place that they can go where they can replenish them is going to be at her island. And so she wants to lead a charge of these people to get there. Now, this I also find interesting too, because if you'll notice before in book 1, when she took the Wonder Woman suit, she also took Batman's belt with her. And it's funny because one of the kids here says that he took an inventory of the belt. Can't believe how much of this amazing stuff is in there. And even some of it is still a mystery. But hey, she's armed and ready to go. So they set off on this long trek in the snow. She does bring the Thaden, who's the bad guy, with them. And she says that she can feel his eyes on her. And because he wants to know if she knows what she's doing, she says she does. She does mention earlier on that even though he's been a bad guy, she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him another chance to prove himself. Unfortunately, that may not work out so well. We'll find out. So they're traveling. Now we have Diana back in her learning mode. Now you see, this is here when her mother gives her the cuffs. So basically what her mother is telling her is that Diana is basically immortal and indestructible because of the blood of the gods that her mother had stolen. And that by putting these cuffs on, it would limit her power, but she would be able to control it as well, as long as she submits to the cuffs. If you'll remember from the first book, she didn't have any cuffs. In the second book, she still doesn't have any cuffs. So they're walking along here, and they come across, E-Dog finds what would happen to be a massive Hydra. Basically takes the entire army to try to kill this thing. The army kills most of them. Diana comes up with her plan, and her plan is that she is going to drive this Jeep right up to the Hydra, and she's going to stab it in the neck, douse it with gasoline, and set it on fire. Which she does successfully, and that's the end of that threat. So they keep on going along on their travels here. We get some more of Diana learning about how to be Wonder Woman. We also get another scene where they're looking at the Hydra, and this is actually a foreshadowing scene. When they look at the Hydra here, he's opening it up, and he makes the comment to Diana that they appear to have gargantuan yet human organs on the inside. So they get they get on the ship that E-Dog built. I didn't talk about that part, but it happened, and they sail to Diana's island, which she finds quite barren when she gets there. She's not sure what's going on, tells the kids to wait in the boat, wants to go in and see for herself what is happening. So when she goes in there, she sees a mutated version of Nubia, or what she thinks is Nubia, and Nubia points to her for where she needs to go. So Diana goes down this long staircase. By this point in time, the kids have, of course, decided that they are not going to listen to Diana, and they are going to follow her down into this cave. When she comes down into this cave, she meets up with her mother. She's extremely happy to see her mother, as you can see here, but then becomes extremely frightened because her mother is a Hydra. Now, she doesn't understand how this happened. She wants to know what went on. So Diana's mother explains to her that nuclear war caused by the world of man has caused their genes to mutate with the creatures around, and they are all of the inhabitants of the island have mutated and turned into Hydra of some sort. This is obviously very, very disturbing for Diana, because she sort of comes to the realization that she has already killed some of her sisters. Now, while she's having this conversation with her mother, where her mother is trying to make her understand, one of the kids here comes and chops her mother's arms off. Not the most helpful thing to happen in this situation, but hey, what can you do? I like this little bubble here where it says, after all these creatures have done to us, you still fight for them. What is happening there is Diana's mom is saying, after all of the things that the humans have done, they've nuked their island, they've mutated them, yet she still wants to help them. And as they're leaving, Wonder Woman is very sad. She's not very happy about the situation at all. One of the kids ends up getting killed as they're escaping as well, as you can see up here, which makes her feel even more upset. And then this is when Cheetah arrives, and she arrives on Pegasus of all things. And Diana can't believe it, but at least they're there to be saved from Nubia, who has just killed one of the kids. So, Cheetah comes out, battles Nubia. Wonder Woman manages to get onto Pegasus. The fight continues. They are eventually victorious, and they are able to get away. Now, the end of this is where it gets a little bit depressing, which kind of leaves a little cliffhanger coming for the third book, which doesn't come out until April, I think. One of the kids here says, "Come on, let's go get you some help, Diana." And she says, "I'm not going with you." And so basically, after all Diana has seen, she's seen that her home has been destroyed. She's seen that the people who were the people that she was wanting to help were the ones that were responsible for this. And now she is turning her back on the humans. This is the first time I've ever heard of anything happening like this in a Wonder Woman book. But hey, it is what it is. So at the end of this chapter, I'll just read it to you what they said to her, what the dialogue says here. The kid says, "We trusted you, we believed in you, you promised." Diana looks at him and says, "You never should have trusted me, and I never should have trusted you." And that's the cliffhanger that this book ends on. So, like I said, Black Label books, they are not canon. They are, they can be great stories. They can also be very hokey stories, too. This is a Wonder Woman Dead Earth. I believe there's also, like, from years ago, a Superman Dead Earth type Elseworld story that was absolutely ridiculous. But this isn't ridiculous. This is good. Another thing that I wanted to say is that I made that comment earlier about canon, and now often when I have friends come over that are interested in reading something that's a comic, what am I going to do? Hand them the Immortal Hulk number 32? Or that hasn't even come out yet, but you know what I mean. Anyway, that they're not going to know what's going on. If I hand them a random Batman book, they won't know what's going on. So whenever a friend of mine has asked to borrow something to read, I always give them an Elseworld story or a Black Label story to read because they're very easily digestible. You don't need to know anything going in, and they can be very enjoyable, much like these are. Very much looking forward to part 3 of this story. Thank you for joining me here today. I am the Son of the Morning. You have been watching a Ye Olde Comic-Con Modern review. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. As well, subscribe. It all helps. Trying to build this channel up so we can bring you more great content, more great reviews of some books that you may not see elsewhere. See you in the next video.